Well, what's up, Water's Edge Church? My name is Jacob. I'm the student director here, and I'm so excited to be bringing you my sermon thoughts on part 1 of the KISS sermon series. And here's the cool thing about the KISS sermon series. It's a relationship series, and that applies to everyone. It doesn't matter if you are married, have kids, have coworkers, have friends, have neighbors. If you just know somebody, a relationship series is applicable to you. And that's why I love this KISS series. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. It's all about keeping it simple in relationships. Well, this week in part 1, Pastor Stu said something that really stepped on my toes, if I'm being honest. I'm really quick when something goes wrong in a relationship to point my finger and to find the flaw in the other person and to point out what they're doing wrong, and if they would just do it my way, how much better it would be. But Pastor Stu said something that stepped on my toes, and I want you to hear it too in case you missed it. So why don't you check this out?
For the sake of an illustration, let's just see. I don't know if you can see this. I'll try to hold it still. Can you see this? You see how disturbing that is? If you know a good dermatologist, yeah, it's bad. We should talk after the service. I mean, there's some, it's scary. This is some scary stuff. It magnifies what I see. What I'm trying to help you do in this series is simplify what has become so ridiculously complicated. Your relationships are complicated. Your marriage has become very complicated. Raising your kids has become very complicated. That next door neighbor and the exchange you guys have, it's really complicated. The working relationship you have with your boss, it's become so complicated. That incessant need you have to go back and forth with those friends on Facebook, sharing your opinion and correcting all of their wrong ones. It's so incredibly complicated. It's complex and challenging and difficult. And if there's anybody here who feels like you're tired of how complicated things have become, let me give you the first of 4 little secrets that will help you simplify it all. You got to come back for the other 3, all right? But I'm gonna give you the first of 4, and I would encourage you to write this down, to hold on to it so you can think about it throughout the week. Here it is. If you want to simplify your relationships, put down the magnifying glass and pick up the magnifying mirror. That's how you simplify what has become so incredibly complex.
If you're like me, that stepped on your toes. You see, in relationships, we're so quick to hold a magnifying glass up and look closer at someone else, or we're so quick to hold the mirror up so they can see what they need to fix within themselves, but we're not so quick to look inward. But that wasn't the message of Jesus. And if you go on to listen to the rest of that message, you'll hear Pastor Stu say that if we keep doing that, it complicates things. Nobody wants to complicate things in a relationship. That's why the Keep It Simple, Stupid series is so practical, so applicable, and it's straight out of what God is saying to us. This week we were looking at what Jesus himself said in the book of Luke. So that's my sermon thoughts. It stepped on my toes. If it stepped on yours, why don't you head over and check out the rest of the sermon to make sure you don't miss out on what God is saying in part 1 of KISS.